In an era where trust was the foundation of community, one man's sinister double life would emerge from the shadows, challenging the perception of safety and revealing a darkness hidden beneath the surface. John Wayne Gacy, known to many as a successful contractor and jovial clown, Pogo, who entertained at local parties. Yet, behind his clown makeup was a chilling secret waiting to be uncovered. It was here, in his seemingly ordinary home, that Gacy would lure his victims with the promise of work, a promise that marked the beginning of a horrific end. Under the guise of employment opportunities, Gacy preyed on the vulnerable, his true intentions masked by a performance of generosity and community spirit. As young men began disappearing, a ripple of fear spread through the community. The disappearances were linked by a single chilling connection: John Wayne Gacy. Law enforcement, fueled by growing concerns, embarked on a meticulous investigation. Surveillance and the collection of evidence painted a grim picture of deception and violence. The gathering of evidence was a silent, steady process. Each piece added to a puzzle of horror, leading investigators closer to the unimaginable truth hidden within the walls of Gacy's home. In the face of darkness, the strength of a community is tested. The act of normalcy crumbled, revealing the depths of evil that can hide behind a familiar face. This is the beginning of a journey into the heart of darkness, a journey that will uncover the full extent of John Wayne Gacy's crimes. As the shadows lengthen over the Chicago suburbs, the community faces a growing unease. Amidst this tension, the disappearance of a young man named Robert Piest marks a pivotal moment in the unraveling of John Wayne Gacy's dark world. December 11th, 1978. Robert Piest, a 15-year-old high school student, finishes his shift at a local pharmacy. A contractor who had visited the pharmacy that day promises him a better-paying summer job. He steps out, never to return. The job seemed like an opportunity for Robert, but the promise was a facade, a trap laid by John Wayne Gacy. Robert's disappearance sends shockwaves through the community. His family, frantic with worry, joins forces with local police in a relentless search. Detectives piece together clues, linking Gacy to Robert's last known whereabouts. Detectives keep a watchful eye on Gacy's residence, gathering critical evidence. The search for Robert becomes a turning point, drawing the curtain back on a horrifying scene hidden within. The resolve to uncover the truth intensifies, with the hope of bringing Robert home still alive in the hearts of many. The breakthrough comes as detectives, armed with overwhelming evidence, close in. The investigation into Robert Piest's disappearance unveils the grim depths of Gacy's depravity. In the quest for Robert, a door was opened into the darkest corners of human capability. The disappearance of one young man illuminated the path to uncovering a serial predator, marking a decisive turn in the pursuit of justice. December 21st, 1978. With mounting evidence, authorities obtain a search warrant for Gacy's home, a pivotal moment that would begin to uncover the full extent of his crimes. The house, once an unremarkable suburban residence, now stood as a symbol of hidden horrors. Inside, detectives would find the first tangible proof of Gacy's gruesome deeds. As detectives meticulously searched the property, they discovered a trapdoor leading to the crawl space beneath the house. The crawl space, a silent witness to unspeakable acts, gave up its secrets one by one. Human remains, buried in shallow graves, spoke of the many lives Gacy had cruelly ended. News of the discovery spread rapidly, drawing a media storm to the quiet neighborhood. The public watched in horror as the extent of Gacy's atrocities began to surface. John Wayne Gacy was arrested, and his reign of terror was brought to an end. The community was left to grapple with the shocking revelation that the monster had lived among them. The painstaking process of cataloging evidence began, each item a piece of the dark puzzle that was John Wayne Gacy's life. The house, once a home, was now a crime scene of unprecedented scale. The unmasking of John Wayne Gacy was not just the end of a criminal's double life, but the beginning of a community's long journey towards healing and justice. The once unremarkable house on Summerdale Avenue became the epicenter of a massive forensic investigation. Detectives and forensic experts worked tirelessly, determined to uncover every trace of Gacy's gruesome legacy. As the excavation continued, the full extent of Gacy's crimes came into horrifying clarity. The task of identifying the victims was both painstaking and vital. Forensic experts relied on dental records, personal items, and other available methods to restore the names and stories to those Gacy had silenced. With the investigation progressing, the legal system prepared to bring Gacy to justice. The trial promised to be a landmark case. Long before the headlines, long before the discovery of bodies beneath the floorboards, John Wayne Gacy had already shown signs of the predator he truly was. In 1968, Gacy was convicted of sodomy after luring and sexually assaulting a teenage boy in Waterloo, Iowa. He was sentenced to 10 years in prison, but served less than 2. Deemed a model inmate, Gacy was granted early parole for good behavior, a decision that would have devastating consequences. The system saw rehabilitation. What it missed was a killer waiting to be unleashed. Upon release, he moved to Illinois, where he buried his past and began building a new identity. He became a successful contractor, a fixture in local politics, a man who dressed as a clown to entertain children at hospitals and parades. To the outside world, Gacy was generous, outgoing, normal, but the truth was far from it. The trial of John Wayne Gacy, one of the most prolific serial killers in American history, captivated the nation. As Gacy was escorted into the courtroom, the eyes of the world were upon him. The man who had masqueraded as a respected community member now stood accused of unimaginable horrors. The courtroom was set for a battle. On one side, the prosecution, determined to ensure Gacy would never walk free again. On the other, the defense, tasked with the unenviable job of representing a man accused of monstrous acts. The prosecution laid out a meticulous case, presenting a mountain of evidence collected from Gacy's home. Crime scene photographs, forensic reports, and personal items belonging to the victims painted a harrowing picture. In the crawl space of Gacy's home, the remains of 26 young men and boys were found, buried in shallow graves. Each discovery was a chilling reminder of Gacy's systematic and cold-blooded approach to murder. But the crawl space was not the only burial ground. Gacy admitted to disposing of several victims in the Des Plaines River, further expanding the scope of his atrocities. Among those found in the river was Robert Piest, whose disappearance had set the investigation in motion. Gacy's method of murder was both cruel and calculated. He would lure his victims with promises of work or other pretexts, gain their trust, and then restrain them using handcuffs. Once they were helpless, he would use a rope to strangle them, a method that allowed him to maintain control and inflict maximum terror. The defense, faced with overwhelming evidence, sought to challenge the credibility of the prosecution's case. They argued that Gacy was not in control of his actions, claiming he suffered from multiple personality disorder. They pleaded insanity, suggesting that Gacy's crimes were committed by an alternate personality. Forensic experts took the stand, providing critical testimony that linked Gacy directly to the crimes. Their detailed accounts of the investigation process helped to solidify the prosecution's case. In their closing arguments, the prosecution called for justice for the victims and their families, while the defense pleaded for leniency based on Gacy's alleged mental instability. The jury's deliberation was a period of intense anticipation. The weight of their decision would resonate far beyond the courtroom walls. On March 13, 1980, the jury delivered its verdict. John Wayne Gacy was found guilty on all counts. The courtroom erupted with a mix of relief, sorrow, and a profound sense of justice. In the years following his conviction, Gacy remained unrepentant, often speaking about his crimes with a chilling lack of remorse. While on death row, Gacy turned to painting, producing a series of artworks that some found disturbingly out of place with his crimes. His legal appeals, which stretched over 14 years, were a testament to a judicial system grappling with the enormity of his offenses. As the date of his execution approached, Gacy remained defiant, never showing remorse for the lives he destroyed. On May 10, 1994, John Wayne Gacy was executed by lethal injection. Outside the prison, the families of his victims gathered, their long ordeal finally reaching an end. The shadow of Gacy's crimes would forever mark the community, but it also united them in their grief and their determination to remember the victims and rebuild. Among the victims were those who remain unidentified, their names and stories lost to time. Efforts to identify these individuals continue, with forensic scientists and investigators working tirelessly to give them the dignity of a name. Advancements in technology and DNA testing offer hope that one day, these unidentified victims may be recognized, providing closure to their families and communities. The memory of those lost to Gacy's brutality serves as a lasting reminder of the importance of vigilance, compassion, and the unbreakable human spirit. The community, scarred but resilient, continues to honor the victims, ensuring they are never forgotten.